Here we go. Money.
Daz has just landed. We're here at W. Welcome to Sydney, Daz. You're an online superstar, serial business person, and a fitness coach online. At the age of 31, you've accomplished a lot that even I admire too.
Oh, thanks.
How did this all start for you?
I think, of course, starting from the get-go, bro, I was born in northern India, Punjab.
Nice.
And I grew up there, finished school, migrated to New Zealand as an international student, like majority of my community does, with like hopes of, making it big one day, all these dreams, making my mother proud. And yeah, ended up in New Zealand, did 1 year business diploma.
Yeah.
And I think from there onwards, I sort of realized that, I've spent this whole year, I've learned nothing. And then ended up just sort of chasing more hours, more shifts at different jobs, starting from McDonald's, worked at BP, then started working at JB Hi-Fi. When all of those things were happening, I was like, where do I really want to go? Because early in early 20s, we often very confused. We don't know where we're going, what the purpose is of our lives. So I was really inspired by police in New Zealand, and that's when I was like, okay, I want to be a cop. That's a job which I can do, and that will make my community proud, my mother proud, and happy days.
So just taking it back to your mother, how hard was it to move to New Zealand? I come from a family as well where my parents in Kenya, so my parents were from Kenya, and to make the big leap to come to Australia, especially with the cultural differences where they're like, oh no, he's going to go there and he's going to become spoiled or whatever.
Yeah.
What sacrifices did you have to make when you moved? Was it hard? How did you,
Yeah, I think back home in Punjab, at one point, my father, he lived in Greece actually and worked from there. So he'll visit us every year, 2 years. But in my teenage years, he spent most of his life in prison in Greece for several things. And the condition in the house financially was not that great. We did have some farmland, which I and my mother requested my grandfather that if we can sell that so we could send me overseas to study, which he agreed to, and we sold that land.
So you had to sell your family land to be able to get it here. Yeah.
So we sold that, and that's how I was able to afford the tuition fee of the first year. And then, of course, coming to New Zealand with so much pressure that this is like, think of going to the casino and this is your last sort of money. And if this bet doesn't go right, you're bankrupt. You have nothing. That's it. You can't make it. So that pressure I always had on my head. So
as a 20-year-old,
I migrated when I was 18.
18.
Yeah. So just finished school. Most of my Punjabi community usually finish high school back in Punjab and then migrate to, for example, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK. Back in the day when I came here, it was 2011, and a lot of people were heading to UK, Canada, Australia even, and I decided to go to New Zealand. And as an immigrant kid who I didn't really speak much English to start off with. I knew how to put sentences together, but it was really hard to have a conversation, like a flowing conversation. And other than that, of course, like you said, was it hard? There's different sort of hard. There was one hope that I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna change all these things, change my life, change my mother's life, and just become this person which everyone around me is gonna be proud of. And so a lot of times all these responsibilities didn't let me think about the hardships. It was more like
it just has to work.
And it was more like I'm grateful that I'm given this opportunity. There's millions of people back in Punjab who are not in my place. And that's, at that point, I read no books, nothing. It was just a thought, I guess God or my mother planted in my head that you are given this opportunity, many people will kill for.
And do you find a lot of ethnic people who come from Asian countries like that have the same mentality?
Yes, I think the biggest reason is when a person experiences two different types of life, they can compare. If I have always lived in New Zealand, I wouldn't have something to compare it to. So I would think, oh, hot shower in the morning, that's a given thing. That's just there. Whereas coming from Punjab, it's not a given thing. There's no hot showers. Your mum needs to wake up at 4 a.m. before you go to school, put the pot on
I forgot on those days.
put it on the stove for half an hour.
Or like the geyser.
Exactly, bro. So there's many, this is just a tiny example, I think. There's many things you can compare and feel like, wow, there's so many things you're blessed with here, which you didn't have back home. So I guess that was just majority of, I guess, immigrant kids who come overseas, they have this thing in their minds.
Hey, thanks for being here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see more content like this. Nice. So you've worked for about a year or so.
Yeah.
You did lots of jobs around McDonald's, BP, putting in the hours, which I find quite common when even I did the same sort of thing. But how did you then make the move to police? Because that's a pretty big, career change.
Yeah.
And also an opportunity to get, because it can be quite difficult. So how did you go about that?
I think when I used to work at BP, a lot of cops used to come there, and I was a barista there. So a lot of cops will come there, I'll make the coffee, and I was really inspired. I have been asked this question before, what has inspired you in life? And I oftentimes shy away or can't find a person, but a profession did inspire me, which was policing. And I was like, if I do this, no one has done it from back home.
Yeah, true.
Coming from another country to New Zealand and as a student, and then sort of transitioning into becoming a police officer here would really just put my name out there, and my mum would be really happy and proud that.
And I think that's quite common with us, especially coming from another country. We're always first, I think automatic response is to think about your family name. Money comes second as well. Money is right up there, but the family name, I want my Shah name to be quite proud, my mom to be proud. But that's amazing.
Yeah, bro, and that was sort of a driving force, I think, and that's how I slowly started training for it. And then I spent 4 months at the police college. After that's like a year-long process. And after year and a half, you graduate, and then you.
So then, how did this inspiration on online fitness and this whole fitness journey come? Were you always fit? Is that something that was always interested to you?
Yeah, I think, again, not a lot of people are aware of my whole story. So I was in the police, I was doing well in life, but again, financially not too great, because again, police doesn't pay you that much.
Community service.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think at one point in 2020, my mother passed away, and before that, about 3-4 weeks before that, I had broken up with my 2.5 year relationship. So few things happened, as in any man's life, trauma comes, it's how you deal with it. So during that time, I was sort of at a place mentally where I didn't want to just give up, sit home, or do something that would sort of tarnish the name or my future self. So I just decided to continue working, and then started even going harder on my fitness and on my nutrition, which was, I would say, a way to deflect that grief towards sort of putting in more effort. And all I did was, at the same time, I started listening to a lot of podcasts, listening to people like Gary Vee, talking about personal brand. And at that point, I already failed a clothing brand in e-commerce and a few other things, because I had zero knowledge of marketing. And then at that point, I thought, I just want to speak about something which I'm passionate about, which comes to me naturally. I don't have to learn or read a book before I speak about fitness or what I do or what workouts I do, how to run 5 kilometers. So I started doing that, and that's when I think the key factor was I was doing it in Punjabi. And at that point in 2020 and early 2021, no one was speaking about fitness, nutrition mindset, mental health in my language, Punjabi. And that's when a lot of people started connecting with me and messaging me, hey bro, really like what you're saying, can you help me with my fitness or mindset, or I'm going through this, how to deal with this. And I just started helping people in the DM. Sometimes I'll hop on a WhatsApp call, and that's with nothing to gain. I was just doing it because I thought, oh, I'm doing the police, this is very similar work. And slowly it turned into business as when a lot of inquiries started coming in, and that's when I thought, oh, okay, I can actually help people change their body and mindset. So that's when it sort of converted into a business.
And just taking it back a little bit, sorry, but taking it to all those failed businesses. So, you know, sometimes in life or as a business owner, it's not just your first business. You know, there could be people think, oh, yeah, he just started his online business and now he's rich. It took a lot of effort to get to that point. Yes, you know, the big effort of moving from India to here, but what did you try before you became like an online business?
I tried a clothing brand. It's YNG Desi. It's Young Desi pretty much. And
is that still around?
The page is still around. It's not running. The page is around, Instagram page. And I, you know, learned how to make the website, how to make it like really shiny and poppy so people think it's really nice, and had the Instagram page going with plenty of memes and like really good photos and stuff. But the key aspect I didn't know at the time was marketing. You can have the best product, but if it's not reaching the people it's going to serve, that product is redundant. So
similar. And did you put a lot of money into this business?
No, the thing is, because I was still a cop, money only in terms of, say, purchasing software, just like the front end stuff. There was zero money spent on marketing.
But a lot of time.
I think effort, time, energy was sort of injected, but the money part not, because I did not know how to actually put money into marketing. And at that point, again, like I said, I was a cop, and I had a vehicle which was financed, and I was renting a property. And there's many things that, you know, as a person who's trying to establish themselves, have expenses, and pretty much after the paycheck, you just kind of left with $200-300, and you kind of at that point you don't have the mindset to be like, okay, I can just, this $300 I can run Facebook ads with it. You can't, because and I think that's another reason, because the marketing was not done properly. But I did spend a lot of time learning podcasts all the time. When I was running, training, I just gave up music. I was just listening to audiobooks, podcasts.
So you highly recommend for anyone listening to do that if they're looking at getting into business or some sort of career change or have something happening in their life. What's that advice based on that you would give them?
I think, bro, most people think people are lucky. No one is lucky. Even look at yourself, you know how much effort you put in. So if 90 people are doing the same stuff, they are going to get the same outcome. If you want to be in the top 10%, you have to exert more effort. And that could be learning, that could be implementing things differently, or that could be implementing things twice the rate. You know, you can do it twice the rate. If someone, for example, we live in attention economy, people are consuming content 24/7. I'm posting 7 videos a week. If you're posting 14, you're gonna learn and you're gonna excel twice the rate. So
how does someone go from doomsday scrolling to becoming a successful business person?
That's a really good question.
So is that like the mindset?
Yes. First of all, you need to know what your interest is, you know, where you want to go. You are interested in, for example, teaching people how to surf. But you on TikTok or Instagram watching how to learn yoga or totally different basket, right? So that's not worthy of your time. So if you could be productive when you scroll on internet, like I believe you are right now, I am, that you are sort of looking at things which are within your niche or the interest you want to follow. So majority of the people are so on autopilot, they do not understand once they come back home from work, they're on autopilot. They're gonna pick up the phone and start scrolling. They have no clue what's going in their mind. And just like we speak about nutrition and the food we eat, it's very evident in people's physiques and the food, the mental, the mind. You know, there's a food for it as well, and that's social media, consuming content, reading books, listening to podcasts, and listening to music as well. And it's reflected in what sort of person you are mentally, how strong you are, what sort of thoughts do you carry 24/7. Are you at peace with yourself?
So how does someone, so when they're scrolling, like the niche, so then you don't know your niche. How do you find, so is that like you find your passion that you really enjoy? So say if you're listening to your videos, you're really interested in fitness, but how does that how does that person change or find that, that thing that they might be interested in?
The best way to find that is there something that you would do if there was no money involved? If there is an answer, probably that's something you should talk about. Give it 6 to 8 months, just talk about it, let people know or you have authority in that niche. And trust me, if you're consistent and you don't give up for 6 to 8 months, you will have at least 10 people message you, hey bro, can you teach me this? But majority of people wanna reap the rewards of 10 years of hard work within the next 2 months, and that's just not possible.
Here's a cool story. So during COVID, just the same as you started this big online business. During that same time, I love cars, right? We both do. But when it comes to actually affording a car, I couldn't afford it for a long time. I love my 34 GTR, 32. I used to grow up looking at them all going, wow, this is an amazing car. I never could afford it. Came COVID, by that time my business was open for 8-9 years. We started doing a bit well. But I took $20,000, right? And I bought an S15 cash, right? And I didn't know much about it. And I was like, cool, S15, always seen it in posters. I want an S15. So I bought an S15 and I was like, cool, enjoyed it for 6 months. And I was like, okay, I'm done. What do I do? I'm going to sell it. Lucky that was COVID time where prices on cars were crazy. And as a result, I started flipping it, right? So I flipped it, doubled my money. And I was like, what the? I just sold this car for $40,000. But what I did then is I stopped doomsday scrolling. I just went so deep into finding out everything about JDM cars, why this car is better than that, what's the price, what year is more popular, what color is more popular. And in 1.5 years, I made profit of $500,000.
Wow.
No kidding. Just by selling JDM cars. Right. And it just shows exactly what you said, is once you put all the distractions aside and you focus down on that thing that you're passionate about. So at that time it was cars, that time for you was fitness. You can actually achieve something.
100%. I think that's really, really inspiring story. And it just goes to show, bro, that when you actually do something you're passionate about, results will come. You just got to give it time.
Staying fit, I try to do my best. I think I'm like skinny fat as you describe it. How do you balance, your lifestyle, family or girlfriend, whatever?
I don't have a girlfriend.
All right. So, how do you balance all that, still keep fit and run such a big business?
End of the day, I think majority of the people, we'll just speak about men. If your physique, your health, your fitness, your body is out of shape, chances are other aspects of your life will be soon out of shape too. Because if you can't, it requires discipline, bro. And then that discipline is carried on to other things in your life. That's relationships, that's business, that's just your mindset, that's you sticking to your goals, that's you just wanting to do something and you doing it. And I think end of the day, it's one of those non-negotiables. And think of something God has given you only one off and you not taking care of it. Imagine you buy someone a Lamborghini and they don't take care of it. Would you be happy or would you be upset? You'd be upset. And on the same, talking about cars, think of a car, think of your Lamborghini. Imagine you bought it and this is the last car you'll ever buy in your whole life. And if something happens to it, that means you'll be walking for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Would you be taking care of it? Would you be parking it in the garage? Would you be servicing it on time? Would you be changing oil and everything, you know, on time? You would.
Especially if I paid $500 million for it.
Yeah, exactly. You would, right?
Yeah.
But on the other end, if you know next week you will have a new car, you don't really need to take care of the one you have right now if you're changing it every week. It's the same with our body, bro. You're not gonna get a new body every week, every month, every 10 years. So take care of it, as it's the only vessel you can experience this beautiful world with. There's no...
So then how do you actually manage all that? Like, you know, from going to the gym, online business, you know, all your social media, personal branding. How does someone manage that? And do you get stressed?
I think stress as a man is part of your life. You just need to sort of regulate it and manage it properly. If you just want to sort of speak about how to manage, if we can sort of maintain the body, maintain your health, and also do other things in life, you don't need to sleep at the gym. 4 days is enough. What's more important is what you are eating during 4 days and the 3 days, so 7 days. You can still be flexible. You can do, out of 10 days, if you're eating 8 to 9 days, decent quality, organic, nice, healthy foods, and one day you want to sort of go out, treat yourself. As you know, as being a businessman yourself, bro, you need to have meetings with people and meet people outside, and you don't want to be rude that, oh, bro, you're not going to eat this, or you're not going to have a drink, or XYZ. So it's okay. It's all manageable. I think majority of the people find the most resistance is at the beginning. Everyone will experience it. I have, you have. But once you sort of get past that first curve, it sort of balances out. And then you know, okay, if today, for example, tomorrow we'll be out, I will indulge in something, you will indulge in something. But I know for next 2 weeks, I have no overseas trips planned. I have no like big meetings planned. So those 2 weeks, I'm focused. Then it's part of my life and it's my responsibility. All of us are adults. It's our responsibility to make sure that the reason I'm sitting here today is my body. If I was like, hey bro, I'm feeling unwell, I can't make it. It would have been shambles. And for our relationship as well, you know? So end of the day, what I've been doing sort of reflects in other areas of my life, which everything is smooth because I have made the decisions and choices to consume foods which will help me for my body and my mind and stay clear, sort of.
So you have, by the sounds of it, you have very strong values, and like, you know, you're quite headstrong in terms of your religion. You know, you talk about God quite a bit, and how focused you are with your mental health and your physical health as well. Does that come from the family?
I think a lot of my values come from my mother. She was a very strong woman, and I think she gave me really good values. And when I started reading things, I am into Greek literature and Stoicism, and sometimes I read things in Stoicism, for example, by Seneca or other authors, and then I realized actually when I was a kid, Mum spoke about this, you know. And for example, the biggest example I could give you is my mum always spoke about speak very little when you're sitting among men, because you will be judged what you say, and the more you speak, the less weight your words will hold. And for example, 2-3 years ago, I read something similar by Seneca, I think. So those things, I think they sort of align now as I've grown. And I understand them more, but they do come from, of course, my mother.
And how do you feel? Obviously, you know, I'm very sorry to hear about your mom, but how do you feel now that it's been a couple of years? Have you come to terms with it?
I think, especially when it comes to a parent, especially mothers for a son, it's a void. You can't fill it, but grief is something you can deal with it. You will have ways to deal with it. Personally, myself, I think I am at terms with it in the sense of I'm grateful that I got to spend 18 years with my mother. There's a lot of people who don't know who their mother is. There's a lot of people who know who their mother is, but unfortunately they were not lucky enough to spend 5-6 years with them. So I look at it that I'm grateful that God gave me that time with my mother, and she taught me so much during that time, which I'm able to sort of now put back into the world and maybe help someone or change someone's life. And in terms of spirituality, I feel like she's watching me and she's around. So majority of the times I'm aware that anything I'm doing on this planet, she's there, she's watching it.
Yeah. And would you say before she passed away to now, are you different?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how so?
It's a very good question. No one's asked me this before. So in terms of risk,
yeah,
I'm a lot different. I believe when mum was around, I was more sort of focused on how can I make it so mum would have the best life. And I'll share a story with you, bro. Mum passed away, and a few weeks later in my police job, I was in a situation which could have costed me my life. And I came home, and because during that instance or scenario, your dopamine is through the roof. You don't analyze it as like you could have been gone that day. You come home laying in your bed by yourself, you think that, oh, actually that moment was actually quite dark and that could have been it. And I think that moment combined with mum's passing, I just started seeing life as every second of it is a bonus. And from there, from that bonus part, if I feel like I want to do something, of course, you know, I'm not gonna, for example, go to the casino and put $100,000 on black, you know. But if there's a calculated thing which I think I want to do, I normally do it, and more often than not, it pays back pretty well. And that could be in relationships and business and fitness, anything. Like it's sort of a blanket policy.
So you become more, you are open to take more calculated risks now.
Yes, I have since taken more risks, because I feel like it's a weird place to be.
Yeah.
Because when mum was around, I would always sort of think that she's here, I am the only person who's going to take care of her, for example. And after that incident at workplace, and those things sort of put two and two together, and I was like, actually, she's not here, and today was the day it would have been all over. So I need to change a few things, how I see life and how I do things, and that sort of introduced risk taking to a slightly higher level.
Yeah, cool. So then, relationship with dad, was it there?
I think in the beginning, when I was really young, he probably 2 or 3, he started working in Greece, and he used to visit us, but as I guess any child, no connection, no emotional connection, because I only saw him like once when I was 3, next time I see him I'm 5, kind of thing. And by the time I was 9, I knew he's my dad, but I was kind of not close with him. And by the time I was 10, he was imprisoned in Greece. And then after that, I saw him when I think I was 23. So I didn't see him for 13 years. So he's in Australia, but I speak to him over the phone. There's no grudges or anything in my mind that, oh, you weren't a good father or you weren't a good husband. Because I believe every person is living life for the first time, and we can't just blame them because things didn't work out in their way or their favor. So not a connection, but again, nothing, no grudges.
And do you feel bad about that? That you didn't have, so for me, for example, me and my dad, very close, you know, amazing relationship. Yes, money-wise, we connect, but the same way you described, there was a big turning point in my life, which is what? made my relationship with my dad go from being a bit awkward to perfect, right? But I also think about people when, you said you haven't had that relationship.
Yeah.
I also think as a man, how do you feel like what could my life have been if I had a positive dad influence?
I think my mother did such a good job that I actually have never thought about it on this level, that what if he was an active person in my life? Would I have been a different person, or even, I don't know, better at life or better at business? Or so I think mum never really left a chance.
That's awesome.
That there was sort of, she did play both the roles, but I do get what you mean, because in this day and age, bro, if you're lacking a father figure, majority of men lack purpose. They don't know where they're headed. Oftentimes they're very confused, even in 2024, just with their own identity. And I have been very secure in who I am from the get-go. So I think credit to my mother, but again, like, maybe I would have been a different person if my father was there. Maybe I would have been actually a bit more spoiled. Maybe I would have taken life not that seriously because I had something to do or prove or make my mother's life better, because she already had a decent life with my dad. Why do I need to work extra hard to make it better?
So you say, very confidently that your identity, who you are. For someone listening and has some family problems and things like that, and financial pressures and stuff, how do you suggest to this person to come out of that space and be more focused and know who they are? Because a lot of those issues come from maybe not trusting yourself and feeling confident about yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Confidence is a different, I would say, it's totally a skill which you could slowly master, but just thinking about who you are and what's your identity, and how to find yourself, or how to be okay with who you are. I think the bottom part would be being grateful for where you are in life, just being content,
no matter what money you have.
Yeah, because if, for example, we are always thinking what we don't have, you just creating more lack in your life by those thoughts. And these things, especially in my community, are very new. A lot of people might think that, this is not how life works. Your thoughts don't really affect your life, but they do. You can constantly think that I'm not confident, I'm ugly, no one likes me. That is your reality in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
But if you flip the script, unfortunately, the problem is when the life is not going according to how you want it to go, and you're just thinking about the thoughts how you want it to go, that's the hardest part. Thinking about, right now we're sitting in this hotel, you can think all you want that you're sitting in Dubai in a pool, but you're not. And that's what your mind's gonna tell you, bro, you're in a hotel in Sydney, you're not in Dubai. But making your mind believe that you're in Dubai, you will be in Dubai in one day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Whenever I have my staff meetings and things like that, then we joke around and they'll go, "Oh, Nav, what are you doing this weekend?" And I'm like, "I'm going to Greece this weekend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" And it just makes me feel so good for the rest of the day. It's just that I'm not going to Greece. But like, if you constantly telling yourself those positive things, rather than, "Oh fuck, I got this weekend and I'm going to do nothing," and why?
100%. And just going back to the identity thing, bro, especially for the young ones watching, we need to learn how can we sit quiet without any noise, without any music, any disturbances, even for 15 minutes, and just monitor your thoughts. If you can do that, not many people, especially the lives we are leading, bro, it's I would say it's not easy to do that. Because even to the time, same with you as well, while you're in bed, bro, you're thinking about what are you doing tomorrow, what did you do today, for example, what could you change. So just I think taking 10 to 15 minutes out of your day, sitting alone by yourself and just monitoring your thoughts to a point where you could kill that noise as well. And
it's something you do.
I try to do it. Again, I'm not master at it, but majority of the times when I feel overwhelmed, I would make time for it. And I think that's how slowly you could be more content. When you have peace inside, you will be more content, happy, joyful, and grateful for everything. And even the day you will think that, oh, you don't have to believe in God. I'm not saying believe in God. Believe in something that you could thank that you woke up today.
Cool. That's awesome. Bringing it back now to business and money, what are the 3 biggest challenges that you faced with building such a big online presence?
Biggest one would be my niche, thinking should I do it in English or should I do it in Punjabi? The language was a big part, and I thought I want to do it in Punjabi because that's something I'm connected to. And that was like a challenge on my part. It wasn't like a logistic.
Because you're quite fluent at it. Have you always been that fluent, or because like I speak Gujarati, but I can't speak as
because it's my first language, and of course going to school in Punjab for 18 years, and it's always there, and I'm most comfortable speaking it. So and I think my audience, my people, my community, the reason they connected with me, the reason I have a business is because of my mother tongue. I could have spoken English and there were like 10 million other people speaking English. So that's something that set me apart in my business. And other challenge would be time. How do I make time? I'm working in the police. How do I also build a business? But you have to do, make sacrifices. I would say the reason my relationship wasn't going great was I will come home from police work and open my MacBook and start watching videos, start reading stuff, just putting those extra hours.
Well, that's it. And I was talking to a few people earlier, and one of the things that I say, a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to work so hard when I'm in my 20s or 30s because I want to enjoy life. I'm young, whatever. But now I look back at it, and you're probably very similar. We worked very hard between 20 to 25, 26. I worked till probably 30 very hard. And if I didn't, then all these other things, you get married, you have a girlfriend, you have a kid. All those things naturally slow you down. Not in a bad way, but in a natural way, you'll have to slow down. So let that naturally happen for you, right? In your 20s, just go all out. And in terms of relationships, yes, you'll have a girlfriend and whatever, but it's more that time that you get during your 20s, it's very hard to get because you've got to come home and spend some time with your kids, or you've got to come home and spend some time with your partner, and you will feel better at that later stage in life to enjoy those things, and you might have a bit more money, if you probably do it properly.
No, you are actually on the money. Reason being, first 10 years, bro, we don't know what we're doing in life. From 11 till being 20, you sort of think in your late teens that you have mastered life. Mom, dad, don't tell me anything. Older brother, don't tell me anything. My teachers, anyone, don't tell me anything. I know everything. In your 20s, that's actually where you are sort of, think of when a child is born. In the beginning, their eyes are closed. Actually, if you think about life, for first 20 years, your eyes are closed. You start opening your eyes when you're 21, 22, and that too, you're only seeing like a blurry picture. And those 10 years are the years when you actually learn life. And I think Alex Hormozy or someone said it, I was listening to a podcast, that if you can't have both, you can't have the blast in your 20s and a comfortable life in your 30s, or you sacrifice in your 20s and then have a comfortable life after your 30s. You can't have both. So I think as a man, I could only speak from that perspective, that you have to sacrifice, you have to commit. And those 10 years, I would say the reason I'm sitting here, bro, with you, or when we met at the Lambo event in Bali, is because since I landed in New Zealand when I was 18 till 28, 29, I don't know what stopping looks like, and I don't think for the next 10, 20 years I would know. And I don't want to know because there's things to do.
So for any upcoming entrepreneurs who want to start a business, what are 3 businesses that you think people should be looking at? There's a common question I get asked, so I like to hear other people's view on what are 3 businesses that you feel are on trend and someone could probably implement.
I think right now AI automations are pretty much booming, and if you could, again, there's no one's gonna come and be like, hey bro, where's your certification for being an AI tech wizard? There's none, bro. You just learn it, put 6 months down. If you say learn about 2 hours a day for next 6 months, 7th month you could sign 5 clients. You got to demonstrate that this is how I will make your business more money, or this is how I will make you spend less time doing the same task. Rich people, they don't want to save money, they want to save time. So find those people, find those skills which will save them time. AI, I personally am just squeezing the AI trend as much as I can in my businesses. I could be, for example, tomorrow night partying with you, and my AI chatbot would be replying to a client, for example. So AI is on the rise. Second thing I would say is building a community. Because, pardon?
Is that a personal brand?
You can say that, a personal brand or a community. Because AI could replace XYZ, but it can't replace Nav. It can't replace me. So the emotion I bring to my clients, or the emotion I will bring to my community, the voice message I could send, hey guys, I'm in Sydney. I won't be able to get back to you today, but I'll reply back on Monday. AI can't do that. AI can't stand beside me, for example. So that's something I would say, if someone is, and to build a community or a personal brand, you need to have some sort of authority in a skill or in an area where people think that, why do people follow people? It's because they inspire, educate, or entertain people, or emotionally shake them, pretty much. But the important thing here is education and inspiration. So if you can educate someone, people want to learn X skill from you, and you have built a community around it, you can monetize it. And that's something that's no one can take it away from you. I can't come around and be like, Nav built this community, I'm gonna take over. I can't, because it's Nav's community. People connect with you as a human being, what your story is, where you come from, what your values are. AI can't have values. AI can't have emotion. So all those things, I think, are irreplaceable, and I think we should sort of work on building personal branded communities. And third thing, I would say, those 2 things were more like on the digital side. On the physical side, there's many opportunities, bro. There's hard to pick just one physical product and be like, go.
So do you feel it's a product based? Do you think it would be like e-commerce stores or something like that, and start small or build it up? And
I think we need to just understand the passion. Passion will take you further than just the
copying
someone, or just the fact that, actually I want to buy a Louis Vuitton bag, for example, or I want to buy this car, so I will work on this. Because one point, bro, you will get bored of something, and then you can't put same amount of effort once you're bored of something. So that's why you need to find and do things you're passionate about. Because like we were speaking earlier, that if you find something you could do without getting paid, and that was police for me, bro. Like I was like, wow, you get to drive this fast car, wear the uniform, help people. If there's one job in this world, that's policing for me, and I'll do it for free, kind of thing, which I almost did, because they didn't pay me enough. I think once you figure out that this is your actual passion, and backbone of any business is people. If you feel like you don't want to help people, you want to make money, you would not succeed in business. If you put people in the core of your business, that actually I want to help this person first, money is a byproduct of when we solve people's problems or help them in one way or other. So find how you can make someone's life better, rich or poor, and yeah, you will. I think Elon Musk said that you are paid to the proportion of the problems you solve.
Awesome. So talking about money then, how do you manage your money, and what are 3 pieces of advice you would give someone to manage their money better?
Again, bro, like I didn't come from like a very strong financial background. So after making a little bit of money, and of course on the way making a lot of mistakes as well, I learned that gaining financial literacy is as important as making money. Because you could make money, but if you can't put it away, you're as bad as someone making $500 a week. It's not bad. I made $200 a week, for example. But if someone who's making $500 a week and putting away 200 is better than someone making 100K a week and putting away none. So that aspect of life we need to master. And to do that, you could read books. You could listen to people who have succeeded in life. Their strategies might not work on you, but they will have something that you can apply in your life. So in my personal life, once I sort of got a handle on managing money side, I started putting money towards funds, which I feel like are more stable, that grow like 8 to 12% a year. And that's my long-term strategy. I don't invest in crypto or anything short-term, which I can't sort of monitor. I feel like if I'm gonna go into, say, stocks where I have to like pull out money on X time or on this day, then I'm compromising the energy that could go towards my business or to grow that business or create content. So I think majority of people, if we stop chasing quick reward or quick money, would actually can live a really good life if they can just put away about 20% of their paycheck towards a fund like S&P 500, which is growing at 8 to 12% on average for the last 50 years. So by the time, for example, a 20-year-old kid, I speak about this on my socials as well, that if someone said when I was 20, Daz, you make $500 from JB Hi-Fi, put $100 into S&P 500 when you're, for example, 22. In 8 years, the compound you will get is, you're gonna be like, what? So those things, like it with your podcast, of course, using you as a medium, I'm saying now that if you're really young and you don't know what to do with your money, and you are sort of living at home, or you have the ability to put away just 20% of your paycheck, put it in S&P 500, and in 10 years time you will be way ahead than majority of your colleagues or peers.
So then how does that come back to, say, someone watching you, right, and he goes, look, it's got a nice watch, nice car, nice everything, I just want to buy that, right? They don't understand you're saving a lot, you've saved, and then you've reached a point to then go, okay, now my disposable income is buying this. Some people will just go, I need to buy this watch to then look like him and to meet him. How do you talk to someone like that, and the mistake that they could make by doing that? I didn't buy Rolexes till I was, I don't know, 30, right? Some people in 20s are buying their Rolexes just to look like them.
I think majority of people are just deluded in the fact that I have to look a certain way, or if I don't have this, I don't belong here. And the biggest value you could bring is yourself. Everything that is materialistic it doesn't define you. It's there as an accomplishment, maybe. Same with if I bought, a Lambo or Rolex or anything of material nature, that's only there to just sort of say that, okay, I wanted to do it, but I didn't do it when I could do it. I did it when I know that, comfortably I am able to do it. For example, kids in their 20s, to look cool, and majority of people in my community as well, they will go to Canada and buy like an $80,000 car on installments, and then they're working 2 jobs to pay that. The price you're paying is your freedom. If you have to work extra hard just so you could drive a vehicle on the weekend for 2 hours, that's not worth, or that's not just a bad decision. And sometimes people learn from their mistakes. Smarter people learn from someone else's mistakes. And sometimes I could, you know, bang the drum that don't buy a t-shirt which says Louis Vuitton and then you're traveling on a bus. It just doesn't make sense. Cause if you're doing it to impress people, and someone who could actually afford it, they know that you might be actually wearing authentic stuff, but if you're traveling in a bus, if you want to impress people, that's not impressing people. What that's signaling is A, you have dupes, or B, you have really poor financial decision making. So you're not impressing anyone. And I think, like you said, you didn't buy a Rolex till you were 30. Bro, I personally, same thing. I used to buy Nike sweatpants, $110 when I was a cop, and I used to get the biggest dopamine spike. Like, wow, like I have a Nike sweatpant. And that was like a reward kind of thing. Or buy like a pair of shoes 6 months later and be like, wow, I have these shoes. I did not know, I never stepped a foot into any designer shop up until maybe 2022, to be honest. Because I just thought, like, I'm not gonna put away 4 weeks of my salary into this pair of shoes, which I don't know what for. Because you brought up a really good topic, because a lot of people are actually suffering from instant gratification. And I'm not gonna be like I'm a saint. I started earning money, bro, and I was like, wow, like there's so much surplus now. Like I can.
So there is a point, there is a point where you do buy it, and you got to that point later, but you know, you already had the security of a few savings, you've got your investments checked off, you've got things happening for your long-term future. And it wasn't just like, oh, I don't have any of it, but I'll still go buy a Lambo.
So for example, my business started doing really well, you know, making close to 90K a month. And I was like, what's a couple of Balenciaga t-shirts to me now? You know, I'm done now, I've made it, kind of thing. And 3 months later, bro, the person at Balenciaga sends me a text, hey bro, in the last 3 months you spent 15 grand here, if you spend another 5, there's this event happening, you'll be invited to it, would you like to come in? And that text message, I looked at it and I'm like, what the fuck? That's what sort of triggered that. At that point I didn't like buy a watch or anything, I was just more like clothes. And I was like, what the fuck? I wore that t-shirt once, that t-shirt I never touched. So that's when things started making sense in my head, that actually I don't want to go down that path. And my sister actually helped me without really like bringing it up, but she was like, Daz, like you know who you are, you're very secure in yourself, because I spoke about this. My sister is like, she's my, you know, guardian angel. I speak with her after mom, she's my everything. So when I can't reach a decision in my life, which is very rare, I would be like addressing it with my sister, and she sort of also made it clear that you are here because of you. None of these people, brands, nothing, no one is there, you know, helping you or anything like that. So, and it sort of saved me before the big disaster happened, which could have been like, yeah, I need to buy that, buy this, buy that, and which again, like gratification, bro. And slowly, as I practice more gratitude for the things I already have and places I can be, you know, the food I can eat, bro, like in the beginning sort of student life, you would have maybe one takeout a week and you're like, wow, this was so cool. And now you're like experiencing all these high-end places, like different types of steaks. You didn't even know there's like grades to steak, bro. Now you can go and eat different steaks. And so when you put everything into perspective, material things are not as important as experiences. So now, a few years ago as well, I started putting experiences in front of material things, and I think I'm very grateful that it came to me at a good age, because I got to spend next 10 years just mucking around with materials and realizing that the bill is not 15k, it's way bigger, you know. So I think it's just God's way of giving you a heads up.
There is a time and place for when it should happen, right?
100%.
So I'm sure you'll agree with this, but there's we both have nice clothes, nice watches, nice shoes, nice cars, whatever, and there is a time and place for that, which is what you're saying. And I think what I want people to take out of this is that we both didn't do it too early. Right? We did it at the right time when we're financially secured. So until you get to that point, people should not do it.
No.
Because it just ends up in a big disaster. What are the benefits of, like, so when someone's looking at it, they go, okay, cool. If I actually save and I do what he just said, I will get to a point where I can make money. What does having a Lambo or a Rolex mean to you, and how does that how has that changed?
It definitely, if you have a personal brand, from the marketing side of things, it would help your business. It helped my business, I would say, and I knew that because I have witnessed previous sort of people with similar sort of materialistic stuff helping the business. So that's one side. It helps the business. It sort of builds your brand. It's like same thing. The reason someone wants to wear Louis Vuitton over something from Kmart is the brand. So when you associate a brand with your name, it will bring your name higher in the echelons. So, and of course, like you said, there is a time and place to do it, and of course you should do it. If you've been working hard for last 12 years and you can buy a Lambo, go all out. You should. But if, for example, you are wanting to do it early on and now you have to work for someone and you're doing 20 extra hours just so you could pay that installment of that car, that's not a good choice.
Exactly how you said that Balenciaga bill was coming too soon and you felt it. You were just like, hang on, this is a bit too soon. It could go too far. You stopped. Now a couple of years later is when you started, going, okay, cool, now I'm...
I think it was at that point I was really comfortable and I had like a plan in place, but I just asked myself, what for? I am a brand myself. I have a personal brand. If I am putting something on my body, that now some kid's gonna look at me and he's gonna be like, oh, if this person's got this t-shirt, I want this t-shirt. Mum, that's $1,800, get me that, but when you said, what does having a nice watch, nice car get you? I think a lot of people probably don't know. The reason we met, bro, is because both of us were present at the event in Bali, which Lamborghini hosted. And that's how we sort of met each other and became friends and networked. And I believe you have met a lot of people through those sort of settings. And I think it does sort of, humans have this tendency to be different and or do experience things which other people can't easily do, which translates to those things having higher value. Why do every man want the hottest woman? Why do every man want like the flashiest, biggest car, nicest house? It's because in ancient times, primal fitness, and plug-in. In ancient times, bro, the resources were very different. Men were judged how good are their hunting skills, how strong they are, how well can they feed a family, how other men respect them. But now, because times have changed, to gain respect in this time and age, you need to show that you are a resourceful man. And resourceful man is not having a 75-inch TV. Resourceful man is, oh, he's got 6 houses, he's got 3 cars, a G-Wagon, a Lamborghini XYZ. Oh, he's wearing his, I don't know, date 41 at this event, he's got an AP. So that's the modern resources. So once you are in a position where you can accumulate those things, and majority of these things which I've named, you know that very little value is lost, even if we speak about monetary things. Like the watches you got, the vehicle maybe little, but the property, for example, you know,
No, I completely agree. And that's one thing that, you know, a lot of people should know when they can afford to buy one. If you play it smart, which is something that you would do and what I would do, you buy the right watch, you buy the right car, right spec, right this, you don't end up losing too much money.
And end of the day, life, you would never, people think, oh, find a balance. There's rarely a balance in anything. Either you will come out net positive or net negative. It's never gonna be like, yeah, bro, I bought this for this and I could get same value. It's never gonna happen. So end of the day, just don't give into immediate gratification. That majority of people these days, because everything is so accessible, bro, in terms of lines of credit as well. People, there's Afterpay, for example. If you buying something on Afterpay, that's, you can't afford it, you know. Of course, like bigger purchases, you can afford it. Maybe you want to put some cash towards something else. But if you buying, for example, a $2,000, let's just say TV, you deserve to have those things, but maybe it's time that you put effort and time into working towards it rather than giving into your feelings and desires and just to get the hit of dopamine. Because we all know, and I think everyone who has experienced quite a fine life, that you could buy a private jet and 2 months later you would be like, why do I not have this $80 million yacht? You know, because it would never stop, bro.
It doesn't stop.
It would never stop. And that's, I'm grateful that I am able to see it through, that it's never gonna stop.
A lot of people don't.
A
lot of people just think it'll just keep kind of circling on. And it's very, personally, I also think I'm victim to something like that, and it's very hard to sort of keep yourself in check. But something that as men, as husbands, as dads or whatever, you always have to try your best to do. One of the last questions that I want to ask you is, what sort of legacy do you want to leave behind as a fitness coach and a leading entrepreneur?
Where I'm headed, bro, I think I want to make people richer. I want to get people to fulfill their dreams, make their parents proud, and make their partners, girlfriends, sisters, take care of them. I want to do something that people remember me, that Daz did this, now because of this, or he taught us this, now my sister's retired, my partner doesn't have to go to work, my mom and dad live in a really nice house, and you know, my business is doing really well. So in terms of fitness, of course, fitness is something I could only impact while I'm physically present. I think the financial literacy or teaching people how to build something from ground zero could stay around when I'm not around. And that's where I'm headed, and that's what I'm going to do. So in the next 10 years, I think I'll accomplish that, and then I'll be free.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Daz. That was an amazing chat. I loved every minute of it.
Same, bro.
And yeah, make sure to like and follow for more, and hit the subscribe button to continue to watch more videos like this.